I saw that. I'm like, she's pushing it.
No. We teach pepper spray instructions, and we're both just kind of.
No, don't worry. I drilled the hole in the canister myself. It was an empty one. It's like, it's all good.
Meet the Pressers with Matt Mallory and Klint Necro. Brought to you by Public Safety and Education and the Trigger Pressers Union.
Meet the Pressers is brought to you by Mantis. Mantis X helps shooters suck less. Next Level Training. Makers of CERT training products. Henry Repeating Arms. Made in America or not made at all. XS Sights. Fast sights in any light. Meet the Pressers is also brought to you by these fine companies, shows, organizations, and our Patreon members. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Klint Macro, and this is Matt Mallory, and we are Meet the Pressers. We're at the 2025 SHOT Show in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, and Matt is going to introduce our very special guests.
Yes, we have Rob and Sara here. We're going to talk about McDojoLife. We're going to talk about Bestie, the new pepper spray device that she has. It's pretty cool and revolutionary. So, guys, welcome.
Yeah, dude, thank you for having me back. It's been like you said earlier,
Years,
it's like,
I think,
3 years or some shit like that. Yeah, so I appreciate you having me back on, man. It's
always good to have you.
Yeah, it's always good to be had.
And thanks for having me for the first time.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you too. We bumped into each other at the Gundy's the other night, and we're like, hey, let's do this. Let's
Absolutely.
get something on the calendar.
And I appreciate y'all because I know that you guys have a pretty full schedule this week. So thank you. It means a lot to because who the fuck am I? I'm just some dude. But
past guests, you give us the time, we give you the time. It's all about relationships in this world.
Of course, anytime. What's that?
Yeah, what's this? This is looks like a marketing card. I just big letters vibrator. I need my okay, read the smaller print. You got your eyes fixed. What does that say?
It says pepper spray that doesn't look like a vibrator.
So what would that look like?
That's a multi-purpose tool.
Yeah, right? Ooh, that would not be fun to confuse those two.
No, it would not.
That would be a hot situation.
May cause.
Yeah. Anyways, so yes. I created Bestie. It is a 3-in-1 personal protection device. It is pepper spray, alarm, and then tactical impact device down below at the bottom. So I actually ended up interviewing over 1,000 women. Would just talk to women at coffee shops, be like, hey, do you carry pepper spray? Or why not? Like, what do you not like about it? And anyone who did not carry pepper spray, or even women who were carrying pepper spray, said either, yes, I do carry it, but it's always in the bottom of my bag, it's ugly, or it was just flat out, that's really ugly, it looks like a vibrator. And I kid you not, at least 300 women said that without knowing each other. So there was clearly an issue with existing things on the market. Pepper spray formulas, tried and true. They're phenomenal. That did not need any updates. The casing around it did, just because there's a market, there's a whole demographic of women who simply will not carry personal protection because it's not aesthetic and it compromises their outfits. So I fixed it.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
I always like to say that if you're walking around with just a gun and you don't have those less lethal tools to be able to augment that, then you're just walking around with a hammer looking for nails and you're going to run into a screw one time. And then you're screwed.
Yeah.
Right tool for the right job.
Totally. Well, yeah, punishment has to fit the crime.
Yep,
you can't shoot someone for pulling your hair.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Well, and your defensive strategy should be such that we're trying to defend ourselves against that legal nightmare that is very likely to happen to use a gun.
Yeah, that
and I think
too.
if you have an alternative device on you, you can articulate that you were considering other options other than deadly force. And if that would suffice, then you got the option available to you. And if not, you can say, well, that wasn't an option. I had to use a firearm because of X, Y, and Z, right?
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I intentionally did was, obviously pepper spray is non-lethal. This is less lethal. It's not going to do quite the same damage as a knife. However, it is capable of cracking a coconut. so you can shatter bone with it,
Use that.
and you can really mess someone up. So you're able to escalate the situation if need be.
So it's not a vibrator, but it is a nutcracker.
Touche! Touche!
I gotta give you a fist bump
Very
for that one.
nice.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that should go on the back of the t-shirt.
I know. I'm gonna have to give you a licensing deal on that one.
I like it. Every little bit counts.
Yeah, I get some royalties for that.
It's actually tested. You take that thing and you start cracking it on the concrete.
Yeah.
It holds up.
That's awesome.
It doesn't, and which is weird because it looks like a lot more fragile than it is.
Yeah.
Totally, and also it's a little bit loose. I actually had an aerospace engineer design and create this just because everyone told me it wasn't possible.
Really?
So I had to go out of industry, spec everything about this. It's not standard. So had the aerospace engineer create it, and it doesn't seem that stable, but it will really hold up, which is amazing.
Is it like a one-use thing, or can you put new canisters into it?
You can replace the canisters.
Okay,
So
great.
I also offer different formulas depending on where you are in the US, if you're traveling. And also what I love about this device is it's one of the few where you can actually put your practice canister in it and you practice on the same device that you're carrying.
How do you open it?
Okay, so we screwed these guys shut just because I've noticed people come in and they try to open it and it's just a disaster.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when people actually get theirs, there's a pin. So you just take a pen, you push in, pop out, and then from there you would just lift up the top sleeve, the bottom sleeve. This actually slides out the back.
Okay.
It's modular, and then there's a clamshell, and you just go ahead and you put the canister in, you can replace the batteries, so it has a very awesome long lifespan.
Very
Cool. So with your background, the fact that you said, hey, you need to talk to. What enticed you about that when you first saw it?
Oh.
And how did you guys meet up?
I just started bothering him on Instagram. So I also do martial arts, and
Okay.
I've been a fan of Rob's page for a long time. And so I just started reaching out to influencers in the space, and I love what he does by calling out frauds. And I just said, if I can sell Rob on this and just say like, hey, is this legit? Then I think I really have something. And he ended up responding, started talking, and he's been so supportive and amazing.
He's like, what did you call it? What's the tagline? I'm in.
Well, I've been pepper sprayed a time or two. So when I bounced, like that happens a lot of times when there's already a altercation that you're showing up to diffuse after people have already got hands on. Somebody probably has already deployed pepper spray if it's gotten that far. So you walk into a cloud of that, and it sucks. Even in a larger space, like if we pepper sprayed even in this room, everybody's getting it.
Yep.
And so,
they're done that.
Especially with CS gas. No, thank
the
you.
problem is that whenever that happens, you're not going to stop somebody who is going full force at you immediately.
Momentum.
And so a lot of pepper spray is just the little canister, and all you have is just the spray, and you hope that that's effective enough for you to get a little space, a little distance to get away, and that's debilitating enough. 9 times out of 10, that's not the case. If they get their hands on you after you've been sprayed, yeah, it's going to suck for them, but they're not going to stop. Now you've given them a more reason to hurt you faster and more efficiently because they know they don't have a lot of time. So they're not going to be like, oh, why did you do that? They're going to be more brutal because now you basically tit for tat. Oh, you've escalated. Oh, well, now I'm going to escalate. But for this, it automatically deploys the sound. So it gets people's attention, which I think is important. Like anytime I've done like stranger danger seminars and things like that for abduction, your voice is one of the most powerful tools because people who are doing shady things, they don't want to be seen by a lot of people who can say, I know exactly what they look like. I know what they were wearing and what they drove. So getting that attention is cool. But also, this is probably the thing that got me the most. Like this little bad boy right here is sharp as shit. And the way that it's designed is that spine right there, it kind of reinforces it. So if you took this and you sprayed and deployed and somebody was still coming at you, you would are already there ready to go.
Yeah.
And I think that there's something viable to that. I think that adds a little something, and something that's been around forever.
Yeah.
It gives it a little edge above what I've seen on the market today.
For sure.
And even like the pens, like the Kubotan shaped things.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to make a decision what I'd rather be hit with, that or a flat Kubotan, I'd take getting hit with a flat Kubotan all day. I do not want to get hit with that.
Sure.
Yeah, that's pretty nasty.
That
So, yeah.
that aspect of the MVP of tools, like I was talking about,
Yeah.
mind, voice, and physical. utilizing that ability is good, but if you have an external tool like this, then you got to move into those, those less lethal tools predominantly before you use a lethal tool. And I'll even go as far as like a flashlight. You can strobe them to paint them. You can hit them with it like a Kubaton.
Yeah.
So something you can have quick access to that it doubles, right? I can use this to illuminate, which I use it more for that than anything. But then paint somebody with it and then hit somebody with it. So it's a multifaceted tool, and that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Well, and pepper spray's nasty, but having the opportunity to talk to a lot of master instructors, like 1 out of 20 guys, it doesn't do anything to them. Don't quote me on that ratio, but it's something like that. So having this as a backup, even if the pepper spray doesn't.
And I mean, even if it is effective, again, like I shot some footage yesterday, and we did a pressure test of a knife defense that was online, and it was a pretty famous video that had gone around for a while of a guy who was teaching overseas, and he was teaching nurses how to defend themselves against knife attacks. And he would take the doctor's coat or whatever, and he was using that to whip this lady in the face, and it looked like it was stopping her attack, right? So I went down, and I actually, it was terrible. And so I went down and we pressure tested that at SHOT Show. And when we pressure tested it, we pressure test.
Yeah.
So I found a Tuhan downstairs who works with Funker Tactical.
Okay.
And he's legit. Nice. And so when we started pressure testing, I was able to hit him once with a coat. But by the time I got about halfway, he had closed so much distance in that amount of time that by the time I hit him, he already stabbed me, and he had blocked with his other hand, so it didn't even affect it. And then he just kept going like a sewing machine. So like somebody who can cover that distance, if I do the same thing and I hit somebody with, they're going to not stop. Their momentum's coming.
And they're going into it, so they're going to be so the cloud. But
and you're going to tense, like in that situation, you're just going to, you're automatically going to tense. Well, that's not a bad thing to do if you're still able to start wailing and you lose all of those fine motor skills. Like if this goes away, you're like, oh, you can still crack them and your hand's already there in that moment. So
and that sympathetic response, you've got it in your hand and they're coming at you, you spray it and they get close, you're going to want to go to the get away. You're not going to open your hands and get away, right? So you start doing that, you start punching or you start, just like whatever.
And then it becomes a part of that. If you miss, you're still
it's included.
I mean, another thing that stood out to me is I haven't seen, maybe they're on the market, but I haven't seen modular ones. So the ability to say, okay, well, I have this, but I can also switch that out for something else.
Silver?
Well, not just that, but also application purposes. That goes a long way. Like, I know it seems silly,
no, but it's cool. I mean, that's the thing. You don't want it to just be, there's many variations of vibrators. There should be more.
Exactly. Well, I think you typically use what you know. Yeah. And if you are constantly using a tool, you know to go to that tool. And so having the ability to change that out for a bottle cap opener. I know that seems ridiculous, but
that's cool.
But if that is attached and that's still there, you're used to using the tool.
Pretty neat.
So it's in your head that it's there,
Yeah, I'm actually really excited.
It's like an ecosystem.
Totally. Well, we have about we're releasing an entire accessory line that you can swap this out for.
Okay.
So, you mentioned flashlights. Yeah. That's coming. We do have a bottle opener version here where there's a little cut, all of that. So, it should be interchangeable and you can integrate it into any lifestyle.
Well, and that's it, because you want to make it so that someone wants to always have it.
Yes, exactly. And you have to carry what you're comfortable with.
Yes.
So not everyone is going to be comfortable using that bottom. So, I also, I will be offering just a straight out key ring. So if you want to, you can attach it to your keys there, but if you don't want that sharp edge, you just take it off and put that in.
I don't know about you, but I would not want somebody hitting me with this fucking thing.
No.
And so I think that
I was going to ask you if you wanted me to hit you.
I think that there's I want to do a true pressure test with it because I believe in it.
What about a pig, a side of a pig or something?
Like the cold steel type
Oh,
videos.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Mythbusters. Go get a pig on a
forklift
and start.
So I do believe that it is something that is handy in the industry. I think that it's unique in an industry that's been basically doing the same shit over and over and over again. I think there's something there. I think that's viable.
The trigger button, I guess, is what I would call it. Is it push forward or is it push down?
Yes. So again,
so that's
with ergonomics, right? We wanted something that was actually
can I push on
comfortable. So here I can turn off the safety for you now. You can go ahead and do that.
This is an inert canister.
So it's going to crack the sound.
That would have been everybody.
And then to turn off the alarm, just flip that down. There you go.
Oh, okay. That's really
Something I like to say.
that's very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
wanted to
that's-
change. So I actually created this
Because you think sympathetic response, like if I just, that's going to probably hit that button in there, as
It will.
opposed to me consciously having to
Cognitively
readjust and
safety off,
down.
yeah.
Totally. And I
That's pretty
Thank
smart.
you. And again, I created this because I had to pepper spray someone. I had a knife pulled on me and I had pepper spray on me. Thank God I had the situational awareness to get my pepper spray out. But again, buried in the bottom of the bag. I'd actually never trained with pepper spray before. So I had never actually deployed it. I ended up, flipping it, but I used my index finger or my pointer finger.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not
And-
Banaka.
Spray, like
No. Yeah. So
Myself. Oh God.
Totally. So I did not use it the correct way. It worked.
Yep.
I again love
But-
pepper spray. Otherwise, I wouldn't have created a pepper spray.
Right.
That being said, I ended up consulting with law enforcement, and we just kind of said, you know what? I think we can really change the ergonomics in order to promote proper use.
Yeah.
Stress-free. It's one button, dual deployment. You don't have to think.
Smart.
So yeah.
Yeah, the as far as the audible aspect of it, I love that because I always say that our two most powerful senses is hearing and seeing. Anytime you hear something, what do we do? We corroborate it with our eyes. What was that? Right. So it just makes sense. Like to bring that, that bring those eyes into somebody, and the bad guy's like, oh crap, I don't want to be.
Totally. And look, in my opinion, this is everything that's your best friend in a self-defense situation, hence the name Bestie. You have something for distance, something to draw attention, something for close range.
Yeah, and that's giving you so many options, and it's stacking the deck in your favor. And that's the important thing.
And like I think that you always go with worst case scenario, and I'm not saying that anything can happen. You can forget the safety. You could forget. So if your first two lines of defense, which is that audio and that pepper spray, they don't work, or something happens to where you freak out in the moment, you still have a very viable tool.
So true.
And I think that if you look at self-defense, it always should be viewed from worst case scenario.
Yeah.
If you completely forget everything you've ever done, what is going to be the thing that's going to save your life? And I think that if it boils down to something that's something I've never thought of, because I'm a fucking dude, so I don't give a shit, but like something I've never thought of is like, is this something that people would use often? And if you can get somebody to constantly use a tool, and I'm going to always go to that, they're not going to forget they have it. And that's something that I've seen a lot of, is people will forget they even have shit on them. Like they forget they even have pepper spray. And then you'll hear, like when I was bouncing anyway, you'll hear people after altercations go, oh fuck, I should have used that. But in the heat of the moment, they forget because it's in their bag and they never use it or practice or train with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times not being able to do that is even a thing.
Hello, my name is Klint Macro, co-founder and administrator of National Train a Teacher Day. National Train a Teacher Day is a grassroots movement of volunteer firearms, safety, first aid, and defense instructors that offer free training to teachers, school staff, administrators, and those that work with youth in a leadership capacity. We do this every year on National Train a Teacher Day. This year marks the 8th annual National Train a Teacher Day, and we'll be observing it on Saturday, June 21st, 2025. That's Saturday, June 21st, 2025. Over the years, hundreds of volunteer instructors have trained thousands of teachers, school staff, administrator, and those that work with youth in a leadership capacity. If you fit that bill, or if you know someone that does, we encourage you to visit or have them visit the website, which is nationaltrainateacherday.com, and connect with a local instructor and take advantage of this fantastic free training opportunity. We'd like to thank our volunteers, our partners, and our sponsors for helping make National Train a Teacher Day a success each year. But most of all, we want to thank you, the teachers, school staff, administrators, and youth leaders who take the time to empower themselves with information to better protect those that they educate, and that is our children. Visit the website, spread the word, and we will see you on National Train a Teacher Day, Saturday, June 21st, 2025. Thanks.
Sure.
So
Yeah, get those neural pathways tightened up.
You gotta practice.
Speaking of your bestie, what do you got going on?
a shitload, man. Since the last time we were here, I wrote a book last year. It was.
What's it called?
It's called
Where can pick it up?
Sensei's Bars and Scars on Amazon. So,
Very cool.
Yeah,
Very cool.
it was when I was younger. You guys probably know a little bit about this, but I started fighting in nightclubs when I was like 14 and 15 years old because the promoter was my instructor. And we did something called patron boxing. And patron boxing was basically you have a ring in the middle of a nightclub and you just go, who wants to fight? And they just get up there and do it. We did 1-on-2 fights, 2-on-2 fights, 1-on-3 fights, 3-on-3 fights.
We did that in the Army.
Yeah, much different. Much different. I didn't get paid to do it. So yeah, the first guy I ever fought, I was 15 when I had my very first full contact boxing match there, and the guy I fought was 30.
Wow.
Like, and it was a strange story.
Cool.
I saw my instructor set himself on fire in a nightclub. I had a 2-on-2 boxing match.
Where is this? Where is this happening?
Jacksonville.
Florida?
Florida man, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Florida man.
Yeah,
for
Florida
sure.
man, all day.
Yeah, sounds like a crazy
I
place.
had all these, oh, dude. Yeah, man, I'm robbing liquor stores with alligators. Dude, that's how I
goodness.
roll. But yeah, so it was a lot of stories from my teenage years, and I kept telling all these stories on podcasts. I was like, you know what, I'll just write the damn book.
That's crazy.
So I put that out, and and then how I started McDojoLife is like the last chapter of the book. So
Nice. And you said it's called Florida Man, the book?
no. Although I'm working with a company called Florida Man Games.
Nice.
So they do like all kinds of odd games where it's like sumo beer challenge where you like I have this big inflatable tube like a pool floaty.
Yeah.
And you hold a pitcher of beer and you have to hold on to the tube, but the goal is to knock the other person's beer out of their canister. Or one's obstacle course where you're running away from the cops. Literally an obstacle course where you have a catalytic converter and you're holding it and you're running away from the police through this obstacle course. And as soon as the cop catches you, you basically get a penalty on your time.
Video game.
Oh, dude, it is wild. And so Pete's the guy who runs it.
Yeah.
And he is Florida dude all day. He is Florida man.
That's awesome.
And when I saw his stuff, I hit him up for like a year. I was like, dude, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part. And finally, he was like, I can't afford you. I was like, yes, you can. I was like, I just want to do something with this because I believe that it's
cool.
going to be fucking fun. So like I watched it and I was like, Floridians getting hammered drunk and playing backyard obstacle course type games. I was like, I'm in. That's all I want to do with my life.
Wow.
So, what else, man? Like finishing our documentary.
Okay.
Just got a approval from Jocko yesterday for something major. So he's an
Nice.
executive producer of our film.
Yep.
We've been working on it for 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that when
yeah,
we did the first episode with you.
Yeah, 5 years we've been working on it.
Yeah.
And I've been going through a lawsuit for about 2 of those years. And we probably would have wrapped before that. We were kind of getting close to like, all right, let's take what we have and start working with it. But then I got sued, a guy named Brian Antak of Brian Antak's Kempo Karate in Bakersfield, California. He hired a guy named Gary Snap Ferguson who lives in Bakersfield, California.
123 Main Street. Phone number 555.
I'm not going to dox him. He just happens to live there, and that's public information that anyone can see, so you can't sue me over it. But anyway, so Gary Snap Ferguson's a registered sex offender, and he was brought up on multiple charges, and he took a plea deal, but anyway, he did some time for that. When he got out, he went right to work for Brian Antak's Kempo Karate in Bakersfield, and then he wound up, Brian definitely knew that he was a registered sex offender and hired him anyway. Wow. I have messages from parents who were like, yeah, he knew 3 years before he has admitted to knowing. So that means for over 3 years, he knew that this guy was a sex offender and still allowed him to work with children. It's just, so I did a story about this because that's my job. Like people need to know.
Yeah.
And this is a part, unfortunately, one of those parts that most people don't get to see. They see like maybe a funny clip or a funny video, and if they watch my YouTube, McDojoLife on YouTube. But if they watch my YouTube, they'll see that I do long form expose pieces, and sometimes they get really dark. And yes, while I can poke fun at some things you don't really poke fun at. And so I wound up putting a story out about it, and he did like a rebuttal. And in the rebuttal, I was like, that's the dumbest shit you could have ever done. Because all he did was just lie on the rebuttal. And I was like, well, you just gave me more content. So I did a second video.
Oh, no.
So April 12th, I'm sitting in my office and I'm working, and all of a sudden I get a knock on my door. And I go to see who it is, and it's a process server, which is funny because I've seen that process server many times because I get cease and desist letters for things like this.
Yeah.
And I was like, cease and desist. So, chit chat with the process server, I sign off, and it's like this thick. And I was like, holy shit, that's not just a cease and desist. And they were like, the way that it was worded was, if I signed the cease and desist letter, it would have admitted to defamation. Because it was like, I admit to defamation and I agree that I'll no longer do a story about this. And I was like,
No.
like, first of all, I'm not signing anything that is admission of guilt.
Right.
But second of all, I didn't defame anyone. I provided receipts.
Yep.
And so we've been going back and forth now for about 2 years, and now it's to the point where he had to pay a $20,000 check to my lawyers because luckily, as a reporter, we have anti-SLAPP laws. So he had to pay back. He had to pay his lawyer. Then he had to pay back my lawyer's fees. And then now he no longer has representation, and we're pretty much getting to the end of it. So,
Good.
But that drew out our documentary because I'm doing like these, the little tutorial, like what do you call them? Like confessional videos or whatever. Like you sit down and just talk to the camera about what's going on.
Yeah.
And so for the last 2 years, I've been having to go through that. And the legal system's so weird because you can weaponize it against people.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Seen that.
Yeah,
And that's
at all
basically-
levels.
That's what he did. He basically was trying to first of all strong arm me by saying, "Hey, I'm gonna sue you if you don't take these videos down." I'm like, first of all, it's never gonna happen. So like, if you're trying to get to force me to do that, like I'm not scared of you.
Poker face.
Yeah, and then next he was trying to basically see if he had more money than me. It's like, I have sponsors. Like, I hope you have sponsors for your lawyer, because I can just like reach out to a company and be like, hey, I'm getting sued right now. Do you don't mind helping me out so that way we can keep going? And I can tell people like, you've helped me out, like BioPro. Thank you, BioPro. But yeah, like I have sponsors, like when it comes to fighting stuff like that, I'm really grateful that I do have people in my corner who do believe in what I do and allow me to do it. Because if it wasn't for them, I mean, the story like that guy, had I not done that story, I guarantee would still be teaching kids at that facility. I 100% have no doubt.
And I can imagine in martial arts training, you get hands on one another often. And as a parent, man.
No.
What's even crazier is, that guy has a problem. Like, he is addicted to children. And I feel bad for him because I believe it's a true addiction. And now, that doesn't mean I am excusing the behavior, and I think that is horrible. But he's addicted. He needs help. He needs to be away from children, and he needs nobody to enable him by putting him in a position of power over children. Right. And all Brian did was allow Gary to be in the position. It's basically like taking an alcoholic and saying, here's all the free alcohol you want.
Or
and I'm
put
gonna
the
lock you in a
alcoholic
room.
in charge of the liquor store.
Exactly. And it's like, why would you do that?
Right.
Like, the guy is sick.
Yeah.
And to do that puts everyone in danger. So the worst part about that story, unfortunately, is I don't win all the time. And the worst part is I was trying to do that story. Well, even though he's a registered sex offender, all he really had to do was just tell his boss, tell his employer, like, hey, I'm a registered. That's it. That's all he was required to do. And while, yes, the employer is telling the public, hey, I didn't know, that's not what he's telling the police. That's not what, so.
Is that public information? Could you get that with a FOIA? And
I can get a lot of things.
There you go.
So,
Right.
But
Yeah.
we're putting all that in the documentary, so you'll see some good stuff.
Nice.
And you'll see some very interesting footage too. I re-released the video too. After I re-released the video, I had a parent reach out to me who was like, oh my God. And he, on legal documentation, said this time and this date is when I removed him from my facility. It took him a while to do it too. And that means he time-stamped what he was saying. Yeah. This is the time and date. A parent had reached out to me and sent me a photo with, on an iPhone, it says location and time stamped. Yep. A year after he says he removed that guy from the facility, there was a photo from this parent, and she's like, that guy is this guy, and he's teaching a class, a kid's class. Wow. And here's this guy telling a judge, like, oh, I kicked him out. Or he's telling the public he reached out to a bunch of people for he was reaching out to people to try to get them to give him like character statements. And so like if you go online and you look it up, you'll see a bunch of character statements. Yeah. Well, those people are being taken advantage of too by this complete fucking asshole who was like, hey, I'm just gonna let this sex offender be here. Oh, I got caught. Well, now let's backpedal and pretend I didn't know. Yeah. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Just own that shit.
Being parents, and we've got 4 kids and 10 grandkids. That's
You got 10 grandkids?
I do.
No, he does.
What?
We're not together.
We're not.
I didn't mean to make that sound. He's got 1 kid. I got 4 kids and 10 grandkids.
I was like, you do you, man.
We have different wives. So yeah.
What's your skincare routine?
Yeah, right.
How old are you?
How old are you thinking?
Shit, I thought you were younger than me.
How old are you?
I turned 40 in April.
Here's the clean.
You're
living.
50?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I'm 50 as well.
What?
We're both 50.
Yeah, class
Wow.
of 92.
You guys all look great.
Yeah,
well, thank
damn.
you.
Y'all
Yeah,
must work
appreciate
out and moisturize and shit.
I literally just asked for a skincare routine.
Damn. I need to.
He puts the lick 'em, stick 'em in his hair.
Yeah, I get my.
He's a
this is my shtick. The spiky hair.
He don't like fop. God damn it, he's a dapper Dan.
I love that.
Well, it's awesome having you on. It's always good catching up with you. You know,
Yeah,
and, you know, wish it was more often. Hopefully, I'll be out west sometime teaching and
Yeah, man.
be able to do something, hang out.
Opening that facility, 28,000 square foot in Jacksonville.
Let us know when the date is.
You got to put a gator pit in it now.
Well, now that I'm working with
ring in the middle.
Well,
Who wants to fight?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I write about this in the book, but like after the patron boxing thing, that legislation stepped in because back then the Tough Man contest was going on. You remember Tough Man?
I think so.
It was like it was basically amateurs that they would put on TV, and somebody had passed away, and then also in another bar, not the one I was fighting at, but another bar, someone had died, and so legislation started stepping in to really regulate patron boxing.
Instead, do it like Fight Club.
Yeah, just we don't talk about fight club.
Talk about Fight Club. We can talk about Bruno. Yeah, so Florida. Hopefully, I'll be down there in the spring. Maybe.
Yeah, come on, man. And if, at the very least, we'll get a drink, go fishing.
Love it. Fishing. Cool. Great having you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And the not vibrator bestie.
Yes.
Where can people find out about both you guys and follow you and all that good stuff?
Yes, my website is www.bestie-defense.com, and it's Bestie IE, not Y. And then the Instagram handle is at Bestie Defense.
Very cool.
I'm simple, man. Just McDojoLife. Just Google it. Pick your poison. Whatever pops up that catches your eye. So, yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you so much. And hopefully we can do this again, man.
Absolutely. It's fun. Fun for sure. Thank you. Check him out. There's lots of sponsors that make this show possible, like Mantis, Next Level Training, Blake Henry, like
XS Sites.
Check them out and give them your business.
Meet the Pressers is brought to you by Mantis. Mantis X helps shooters suck less. Next Level Training. Makers of CERT training products. Henry Repeating Arms. Made in America or not made at all. XS Sites. Fast sights in any light. Meet the Pressers is also brought to you by these fine companies, shows, organizations, and our Patreon members. Thank you.
Thanks for watching the show.
Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and click that little bell thingy so you know when the next episode's coming out. Support us on Patreon. Come to one of our classes. Host us to come to you and do one of our classes at your location.
And until next time.
Adieu.
Thank you for watching Meet the Pressers.